Welcome to an episode of Potion Sword Run. I'm Original Seed, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the PlayStation 5 and its adjustable fan. Sony recently announced that the PlayStation 5's fan is going to be adjustable. It's going to have up to about 3 different speeds, they say, in order to keep the system cool. Now, the PlayStation fan can be adjusted by firmware updates to the PlayStation itself. So if a game data shows that the PlayStation 5 is running relatively hot, then they can go ahead and adjust it accordingly. Now, being an Xbox guy, I can already know that a bunch of Xbox fans are gonna scream Hail Mary on this. They're gonna say that the PlayStation 5 is gonna have heat issues, and that is why they included this upgradable fan pretty much. They're gonna say that Sony engineers didn't think it through. Even though the PlayStation is huge and has this big heat sink, it's still gonna suffer from heat issues. Now, you can look at it either way. You can look at this as a positive, saying that Sony was actually thinking ahead and they don't want to come out with a scenario like the Ring of Death with the Xbox 360. I'm sure if that one had an adjustable fan, then it could have saved millions and millions of units, not to speak of millions and millions and billions of dollars probably. So I'm thinking maybe Sony doesn't want to risk it. And their fan being upgradable is actually a pretty cool idea. And on the flip side, you're gonna have Sony fans saying that this is ingenious, this is thinking forward, which it probably is, but they're gonna compare it to the Xbox Series X and how their fan is not upgradable or can change speeds depending on what type of firmware update it gets. And the counter to that obviously is gonna be that the Xbox doesn't need it because they thought about all of this through the engineering process. But either way, it seems that the heat issue isn't gonna go anywhere, not until we got the systems out. And even then, I'm sure we're gonna see a bunch more heating videos coming up. But for me, it's just gonna be the last one because I consider the heat issue a non-issue. And the only reason why I'm reporting it now is because the PlayStation is gonna have an adjustable fan, which is pretty neat. But honestly, expect your consoles to run warm. Expect hot air to come out of the vents. That's what they're for. You don't want the hot air to stay inside the system because then it'll overheat. And since I'm a new PlayStation 5 owner, or will be when it comes out, I don't want to have a brick for a system. So if having an adjustable fan is a good thing, then I'm all for it. And speaking of things being overblown, the PlayStation will allow up to 40 seconds of your chat being recorded. And people took this and ran with it, saying that pretty much Sony is spying on you. And that isn't necessarily the case. I mean, yes, they're gonna be able to hear your recordings, but you're speaking in a mic to other people, and you should assume that you're being recorded already. Sony just seems to be covering their butt on the back end, and are gonna be using these recordings to pretty much just regulate abusive behavior. So if you're not an abusive person, then you really have nothing to worry about. I mean, if you cuss all the damn time in your games, then you probably don't want to cuss to people who are gonna take this offense to heart and share it with Sony. I'm in the camp where people believe that snitches get stitches, but this is the new age and people are celebrating snitches like Tekashi, so what the hell do I know? Well, I guess one thing I do know is that Xbox fans are gonna jump on it, and they did. But what they failed to realize is that Microsoft also has something similar to this. Now, they don't necessarily let you record people's voices to send to Microsoft to can snitch on them, but they do have parental controls that can pretty much filter out any abusive languages, any messages, and pretty much just things that you don't want to see. It's a lot more robust than the PlayStation network is because it has so many different options and scales that you can move up, and I think that's actually probably the best way to deal with abuse. However, if someone is actually threatening you, I mean verbally threatening you, then I guess it would be cool to have a recording. And for those of you that complain about privacy and this and that and freedom of speech, my God, all these corporations, Google, YouTube, Facebook, it doesn't matter. Every app on your phone pretty much steals all your information. A lot of this stuff is pretty much recorded. Right now, I'm probably being recorded from the CIA, NSA, I don't know. Hey, how's it going, guys? Please don't kill me. You know what I mean? So we're being recorded all the damn time. And if you want to fight this, then pretty much you have to vote. You have to vote to get money out of politics. You have to vote to reverse the Patriot Act and all the different abuses of power that the government just kind of ran with. But that's a whole different story. And this is just one little part of it. So that's the future. Don't be a dick and you probably won't get snitched on. And if you want to go ahead and keep all those perverts out, all the abuse out, then you can pretty much just do that on Xbox as well. Now that's going to do it for this episode. Remember, when shit's the fan and fanboys are everywhere talking about heating issues and talking about abuse issues and talking about snitching, talking about recording, talking about all this crazy nonsense just to get a rise out of you, run.